Ever loved a movie so much you couldn't wait to own it? You tell your friends, your family, your coworkers, just anyone who would listen. Once it's released, you rush over to possess it, excited to relive the experience. But in the end, it only sits and collects dust. This time, I'll be unwrapping them.
Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to another Unwrapped review. Before I get started, I want to give a special thanks to my Muddy Cold patrons. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to become a Muddy Cold patron, you can hit that link below in the description. I also put it at the end of the video. I give early access, special little perks for live streaming, and little trinkets that I pick up at conventions and stuff, and also sometimes I throw in my own little goodies such as cosplay Polaroids, and you get behind the scenes videos and stuff. I can do things. Jump on it. Also, if you haven't done so below, hit that subscribe button, because I know more than half of you are not subscribed. I don't know why, because you'll never know when I make new videos. You don't want to miss out. So today, this was part of a poll that I did on Facebook of which movie series should I review that I own, and as usual, what I really wanted to review did not win out, and that's perfectly fine. So today, what won was the Conjuring series. Now, I know the third one is coming out pretty soon, or is out. Don't know when I'm going to be posting this video, but as I am filming it, it is not out yet, but it is coming out pretty soon, and I am very excited for the third installment in the Conjuring series. If you haven't watched this old video of directors that inspire me or that I really like, some of my favorite directors, I will put a card up there. You can check it out, and you can find out that I love James Wan, like, so much. I think he has changed the game for horror movies, and it's sad knowing that he's not really touching the horror genre as a director as much lately. He's been doing a lot of producing, and I have been enjoying that Lionel, his buddy, his writing partner, it has been stepping into the director's chair and making such great films as The Invisible Man and Upgrade, and that's great, and I hope he continues to make more movies, because I've been enjoying a lot of the content that he's been creating as well. But I also hope that maybe one day James Wan will be in the director's seat again and create another fantastic, interesting contribution to the horror genre, because he's really good. So I'm going to be doing something different, because I have two movies. I'm going to talk about both of them. I'm going to try not to ramble too much about them. So I'm going to start with the first movie. Of course, it's just the Conjuring movie, and yes, it's a Blockbuster copy. The Blockbuster near my university was going out of business, much like many Blockbusters around the country. So I bought as many movies that I love, and this was one of them, so I'm happy that I own this one, even though it doesn't have a description on the back, but that's okay. So, in case you didn't know what The Conjuring is about, let me tell you. In 1971, Carolyn and Roger Perron moved their family into a dilapidated Rhode Island farmhouse, and soon strange things started happening around it with escalating nightmarish terror. In desperation, Carolyn contacts the noted paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren to examine the house. What the Warrens discover is a whole area is steeped in a satanic haunting that is now targeting the Perron family wherever they go. To stop this evil, the Warrens will have to call upon all the skills and spiritual strength to defeat this spectral menace at its source that threatens to destroy everyone involved. So, if you don't know me, followed my blog for a really long time, or know me personally, I'm not super crazy person into like ghosts and exorcisms and haunted houses, but something about this movie really intrigued me with its trailer, and it looked so different, and like at the time there was just unlikable characters, jump scares, gore, unnecessary sex, all the things that was just clouding up the genre that I was just bothering me, and I was just looking for something new, just a breath of fresh air into the horror genre. And this movie was it. This was the breath of fresh air that the horror genre needed, and I am so thankful. If you're not familiar with Lorraine and Ed Warren, they are paranormal investigators. You can probably read up on a lot of their stuff that they're done. I'm not super into paranormal investigation, so this is my introduction to stuff that they have done. This is something a little different from what I've experienced with Wan's first movie, Saw. And I love Saw, love the series. Looking forward for Spiral, because that's out right now. And I hadn't, at the time when I first saw this movie, I hadn't seen any of the Insidious movies, so I had no comparison. But all three of them have its own like flavor and taste, but it still has a similar atmosphere to each other in a way. I think the Conjuring series is a little bit more similar to the Insidious films, as it has to do with a lot of demons and ghosts and hauntings and stuff. Saw is more of a plot-driven moral compass with some torture in it, but not torture porn. I remember seeing this in the theater with Maja because she was afraid that I would be scared, and she's not really into horror movies. She's definitely not into ghosts and hauntings and stuff like that, and she was kind of scared. And the whole joke that like I played after this movie ended was the hide and seek game where they're clapping. And in the trailer they show that whole thing with them playing hide and seek, and there's like a hand that comes out the closet that claps, and there's no one there. It is good. It is very good. This is how you utilize jump scares in a good way. I was on edge. I enjoyed every moment. So being able to relive this moment by rewatching the Conjuring series and just reigniting that love of how good this movie is was just a fun time. I will admit maybe it dragged a little bit, but I enjoyed the world that it built. I enjoyed the Warrens, I enjoyed the family and their dynamic and how they played into all the things that you think in these horror movies, like, why don't they just leave the house? And it's just like, no, the demon's gonna follow them no matter where they go. It's a very attached demon. So I'm glad it answers those questions. It also gave us an introduction to Annabelle, the evil doll, at the very beginning. It's just a short little thing with some college students, and then it segues into a little bit about the Warrens, and then it slowly moves into what case that they're going to be solving, and I really like that structure. It's a good flow, and then it ended up being, you know, we're going to expand a little bit more on Annabelle, and I don't know if I've reviewed all three Annabelle movies, but I'll definitely put some links below and you can check my thoughts on that. I have a feeling I haven't reviewed the last one, but gonna work on it for sure. I believe I actually did do a review of The Conjuring already on my blog, so you can read my first thoughts on it. But just looking back on it, I thought it was a very good film, and I really enjoyed it still. It definitely holds up, and I hope that more horror films kind of take some inspiration from this and focus on atmosphere and character building and stuff, and not, you know, put all their investments in easy jump scares and gore and stuff. So, on to the second one, which is the legit, I actually bought it film. It has a cover. I actually bought it when it was fresh and new, I believe. This is The Conjuring 2. This is The Conjuring 2. It revolves around the nun, Valak. Tiny spoiler. But actually, this is, I mixed them up. This one actually isn't the Amityville horror case. This one is, because I glanced at the description, and this is the Amityville horror case. So, let me read you the description of what The Conjuring 2 is about. Reprising their roles from The Conjuring, Oscar nominee Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson star as Lorraine and Ed Warren, who help a single mother raising 4 children alone in a house plagued by malicious spirits. Known as England's Amityville, the Enfield haunting was the most documented case in paranormal history. Discover the truth behind the event that shocked the world. This one also had a similar formula of, well, not similar, but it did introduce a little bit of another, or maybe 1 or 2 future spin-off characters or connections that will happen in later films that are not Conjuring by title, such as The Crooked Man and the possession with the man that's just like in the basement. I don't think it had a name. I don't really know. But they do mention it in the Nun movie at the very end. Kind of small spoiler. I don't know. Realizing now of me kind of looking at stuff, maybe I was mixing up the two. My apologies. I mean, they're both very similar. They're both hauntings in houses with families. This one had a bit of ghosts, and I think maybe I remember this one a little bit more. This one had to delved in a little bit further into Lorraine's ability of, premonitions and being able to connect with spirits. Spirits from the other side, whether they're demonic or restless ghosts or whatever. It kind of tapped into that. And it also kind of expounded a little bit more on Ed's way of getting those spirits to talk with him in a more comfortable setting, not as in a more... Because Lorraine can kind of teleport. I use that loosely. It's not really teleporting, but she's able to get into that same zone or whatever, and Ed doesn't have the ability, but he can coax information out once the demon is out into the physical body or whatever, because the girl in this movie is possessed by a elderly man who died in the house and is get out of my house. But then there's another evil presence that kind of not only haunts the family but haunts Lorraine a lot, which is the Nun, which later became a spin-off film. I don't think I actually reviewed it yet, but I will. I have seen the Nun movie. I'm not gonna really go into it too much, but I thought this kind of was, I don't know, it definitely took things from the first movie and kind of elevated it just a little bit, but wasn't it didn't lose its charm, lose its positive traits. I think James Wan did direct this one. I don't think he's directing the third one, if I remember correctly. I think he's just the executive producer or whatever, but I really enjoyed a lot of the creepy elements. It also does that whole why don't they just do this, and then they do it and it still doesn't help their situation. It still gives a nice creepy vibe to it. There's moments where it's just where you feel the stakes are high. As you can see, there's like a lot of crosses in this scene with like in the room where all the crosses turn upside down. I remember that very vividly. I remember feeling that sense of dread that Lorraine felt for her husband on a certain part because she does get premonitions of the future of things that could happen. We also get a glimpse a little bit of their family life because they do have a daughter and stuff, and they try to protect her and make things as normal as possible for her despite them being into paranormal investigations. So I like the parallels between the two families. So I really enjoyed the sequel just as much as the first one. It does a really good job, and I'm curious how the third one is gonna play out because it sounds like something a little bit different, as it's dealing with a case of a man who killed someone, doesn't remember killing them, and they say it's some sort of possession. So all of them do have, you know, possession element. I mean, that's what they do. They deal with demons and possessions, and they link up to do exorcisms and stuff. So if you're curious, if you've never seen the Conjuring movies, if you just want to watch like number 2 but not number 1 or whatever, or if you wanted to watch any of the spin-offs like the Annabelle trilogy or the Nun movie, do you need to watch either of these beforehand? No, not really. It does help. I will say that, especially for like Annabelle, is it Creation? No, Annabelle Comes Home. I think that one. That one, I feel like you might have to watch one of these, probably the first one, because that's where Annabelle is introduced, and it delves more with the Warren family and their like familiar interaction and stuff like that a little more compared to the second one. So yeah, so if you wanted to watch the Annabelle movies, I don't think it's required except for that last one. Maybe watch the first Conjuring movie. As for the Nun, since the Nun is a prequel to what's going on in this one, you don't really need to watch it, but like it does add some supplementary like information that like makes it all make sense. Like it's good to watch all of them and you get more information and things make more sense and you feel more connected to these characters. You feel more of an attachment. I believe the Curse of La Llorona is supposed to be part of the Conjuring universe, but it kind of doesn't feel like it is. So that one, I definitely don't think you'd have to like jump into the Conjuring movies to watch that one. Overall, they're both really good. I don't remember if I made a review for The Conjuring 2, but from when I like first watched it in the theater, definitely put a link in the description below. Maja did not see the second one. After that first one, she did not want to see it, and now, ever since that first movie, I keep joking about any Conjuring entry, whether she was going to watch it with me or not. So, that's been fun. I don't know if I should give them ratings. I'll probably, whatever rating I gave it on my blog, I kind of just want to keep it. No, I agree. My feelings still feel the same. But I'm glad, like I said, I got to revisit these. I probably should have waited a little longer to review it, so, I mean, a little longer to, like, watch them, so it'd be closer to the third movie. But it's too late. I already did it. And I'm not planning on rewatching them anytime soon because Spiral came out and I want to like binge watch all those and review all of those because why not? I love those. So that's it for the video. Thank you guys for everyone who voted for the Conjuring series. Like I said, I will be reviewing the second place choice, which contains 3 movies, so it's going to take me a bit of time. They're both, I believe, most likely over 2 hours long, so that's going to take me a few days, and I'm also catching up on a bunch of movie challenges. If you're curious about any of those, I'll leave my Letterboxd account below. You can totally follow me there if you want. I've just overwhelmed myself with movie challenges because I like a challenge. So I'm kind of catching up on those and some other movies that I got from work, and I'm just kind of trying to chug out as much review content as possible because I know I've been slacking off on reviews. So I'm going to try to do a lot better. There we go. If you've seen the Conjuring movies, 1 or 2, or just any entry in the universe, just, let me know what you thought of them. Like, tell me your thoughts. Are you looking forward to the Conjuring 3? I know I am. Also, if you enjoyed this, probably not the greatest of reviews review in this Unwrapped series, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos that I make, please hit that subscribe button below. I make content on here. I upload stuff here on Wednesdays or Thursdays, and sometimes I throw in an extra video in the week. Take care of yourselves. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. Peace.